Welcome, welcome. You are in the right place if you would like to see a simple three-part guided reading structure that I can use with a rising first grader or I can use with a struggling high schooler. This is a simple three-part structure that been talking about this week here at, where's the sign? Reading Simplified, because it is back to school boot camp. We've had a couple different weeks reviewing some of the things that you see that are typical problems for beginning readers at the beginning of the school year. And this one is a kind of a problem that we have as teachers. You can play with that if you want. How do we structure our guided reading time so that it's really efficient? We don't have to spend hours prepping, and then we get a lot of bang for our instructional buck. And so this three-part lesson, which I've been speaking about this week, I thought it would be neat to show you an example of it in action. Now, my young friend here worked with me maybe a month or so ago, a couple times, but we haven't worked with each other lately, so I was just catching up with her and seeing what she needs. And so this is a fresh start with her on this three-part lesson. So what are the three parts? First of all, it starts with rereading for fluency, and that would be rereading a text that she's read previously. And then we would move into word work, which is multisensory activities that do a whole bunch of things simultaneously to improve sound-based decoding. And then third, we would read a new text. And then she would read that new text with my support, but then afterwards I would read it to her, and she would go home and read it, or she would read it independently and then come back to me and reread it tomorrow pretty easily. So it's a cycle of rereading where she gets a new text every day, and through the rereading, she builds up her high-frequency word knowledge and her decoding skills. Okay, so are you ready? Let me know where you're from and what problems you have in guided reading. Or if you have, maybe you don't call it that, your small group reading instruction, or if you're a homeschooler or a tutor, what you do during that reading session. Do you have questions about it? Pop it in there and we can talk about it as we go. So first of all, we would normally start with rereading for fluency, taking a passage she read previously and rereading it. But we don't have that. We don't have that today, so we're going straight into word work. And for word work, I usually do about 2, maybe 3 activities. So we're going to do 2 today. We're going to start with Switch It, which is one of our favorites. It builds high frequency, it builds letter sound knowledge. About ready to go? Builds letter sound knowledge and phonemic segmentation, phonemic manipulation, left to right tracking, the concept of the alphabetic principle, decoding, and spelling. So this is an awesome activity that builds a lot of things simultaneously. Okay, you ready, my young friend? Let's start with the word lush. If you are in a lush garden, there's lots of flowers. It's full. It's lush. Okay? So can you make lush? Wow, that was pretty easy for you. Let's check it. And the word is lush. Do you like to see a lush garden full of flowers? Okay. We're going to add a sound and turn it in. So we're going to add, not take away. And turn lush into flush. Don't forget to flush the toilet. Where are we going to put the sound to make lush into flush? We're going to need to add something. Yep. What do we need? Very nice. Flush. You got flush the toilet. Okay, check the sounds. And the word is? Flash. Okay, switch it to flash. She was quick as a flash. Uh-huh. So close. Let's check it. You fixed it on your own. Nicely done. Is that right? And the word is?
Flash.
Flash. Flat, right. Before you had flat, and now you have flash. So notice what she's doing. She's switching the vowels, which takes a lot of effort. It's a hard phonemic manipulation task, and this is a really strong skill that we're building in her brain so she can attack any unfamiliar word in the future. And also she's getting practice with consonant digraphs. And woo, look at that one go. And of course the consonants. Okay, switch flash to flesh. This is your flesh. My flesh. Flesh. Flash is what you have. Flash.
To
Flash. Full. Yeah, we have flash. We need flesh. Flesh. Which one are we going to take away first? Just figure out which one needs to go. We have flash, but we need flesh. So which sound are you going to take away? That's right, we don't need ah. What sound are we going to put here? What sound? To make flesh. Eh. Which one is eh? Very nice. And if you're just popping in, I want to know what your issues are with guided reading or any kind of small group reading instruction. What are the challenges that you face? Pop them in the comments, please. Okay, flesh. Let's check the sounds. Well, you just said flash, but it's flesh. Can you say flesh?
Flesh.
This is my flesh. Is this my flesh? No. Is this my flesh? No. Okay. Now, let's switch it to fled. The mouse fled from the cat. The mouse fled from the cat.
Fled.
You have flesh. You need to switch it to fled. You had flesh. You need to switch it to fled. That's right, actually. We need the eh because it's fled. Can you say the word fled?
Fled.
Flesh needs to turn into flesh. A fled. Oh, good memory. You remember the duh. Let's see if we got that right.
Fled.
And the word is fled. Very nice. Okay. Switch it to sled. In the winter, we may get out our sled.
If it's not.
You have fled.
Sled.
And the word sled. Okay, last one. Switch it to sped. The mouse sped away from the cat. Check the sounds. Well, that would make it spid. This is the word sped. So let's go back. It's well, that would make it speed. Can you say sped? Sped. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for being here. Sped. She's giving you a thumbs up. Sped. What? So we have sped. Yeah, let's check each sound. Very good. The word very nice. So the hard thing was switching the vowels and particularly recognizing what sound this short E is. So that's one that I would work on with her tomorrow. But notice she's doing 4 sounds, switching the consonants at the beginning of a word, which is hard. So I could even increase it to 5 sound consonants, like CC, VCC, stump, stamp, and stomp kinds of things tomorrow. But then I would also fold in more short E. The short A and the short U were easy, and even this was easy. So maybe I'd ask her to try another digraph. So that's a lot that we just did real quick with Switch It, learning letter sounds, learning phonemic activities, and segmenting and blending. And then we also practice how decoding works, really, and how spelling works. But now we're going to move into another word work activity. This is the second part of a 3-part guided reading structure. And you want to have probably 2 or 3 word work activities. So we did Switch It, and now let's do Sort It. Switch It, she just did, was with short vowels. Now we're moving to a harder level of long vowels, or the advanced code. And so Katie wants to know how old you are. She's 6. She is a rising first grader, and you have a late birthday for your class, don't you? When's your birthday? What month?
June 14th.
June. So she's a young lass. And Victoria wants to know, or has to say, that we tend to use a point under each sound and swipe to pull the word together. This helps when changing vowels. Okay, to use a point under each sound and swipe to pull the word together. So I'm sorry, Victoria, I'm not following you. I don't know if you're talking about like putting the sounds together, like blending. That might be a different activity that we do. Or maybe you're giving me a tip for making switch it better for her, and I'm not following you. I'm sorry. Katie asks, how long do you spend on each activity within word work? Well, it depends on how much time you have available. So I would think a typical guided reading structure would have about 20 minutes in the classroom situation. And so word work would be probably about 10 of those minutes. So each one would get 3 to 5 minutes. This one will take a little longer because we just haven't been working together. I think this is only maybe the 3rd time I've ever worked with her. Okay, so today we're going to do for sorted, the advanced code, and we are going to learn the O sound. She started this with me about a month ago, but we haven't worked together again, and it is a challenge because in kindergarten she was really emphasizing one sound is one letter. But now she's going to learn how one sound can have multiple spellings. So, and she's not a homeschooler, but this could work in a homeschooling setting. Oh, I see what you're saying, Katie. If you homeschool, then just, I would put as much time into it as your child would be content to engage in it. When they start to lag in their interest, then I switch out the activity. But I think for switch it, at least 3 to 5 minutes is kind of the big typical thing. Sort it might take a little longer, but if your child's flagging in his or her interest, then just cut it off and do it later. The nice thing about homeschooling is that you can break up your activities across the course of the day and do sort it for 5 or 7 minutes now, maybe do it at bedtime. Okay, Victoria's clarifying. Thank you. To get the child to point under each sound. Okay, right. That would be good. Yeah. You want to practice that? Like pretend we're doing the word fled. Can you point where fled would have been? One of the sounds? And can you use one finger? And put the whole word together?
Fled.
And can you do it with your finger? Fled. Putting it together. Yeah, that's can be helpful for the children. You're right. I was doing that, but maybe the child could be doing it too, Victoria. Thanks. That's a good tip. Okay, so let's do the O sound. We did this once before, but we're rusty at it because it's hard. So the O sound has several different spellings, right?
Uh-huh.
And we are memorizing the O sound with a key sentence. I think you already know the key sentence.
Go home to show that book to Jeff.
Awesome. Now she's got the auditory perception of it. Now we have to get the spellings of that into her brain. Okay, so let's read that first word. What is it?
Go.
Where does it go?
Yeah.
Okay, so say the sounds as you do it. Thanks, Victoria. Go. So we use the key sentence all week as we practice the O sound every day, doing more sorted and more reading activities. Okay, you did it. What's the next word? Let's go across this way. Go. Just right there. What's that word? Show. Where does show go? Which is the same spelling as that. Yep, you found it. If you have any guided reading questions, let me know while she's working. She's saying the sound as she does it. Okay, Katie, if your child is decoding CVC words, that's awesome. As soon as he can blend 3 sound words and knows the 5 short vowels about 70 or 80% of the time, then you can move on to this level. Don't stay, or camping out as I call it, too long in the CVC level because it can confuse kids when they get to this level because they think, I'm sorry, I'm bobbing your pencil. They think that one sound is always one letter. Okay, Katie, if you can go to my website, readingsimplified.com, go to Start Here, and then look for the activity called Read It. It will teach you how to solve that blending problem, okay? Readingsimplified.com, and then go to Start Here. It's one of the buttons, and then look for the activity Read It. I'm talking so much, it's hard for you to think. Oh, you got it. She's got show. Let's show everybody what you've got. So she's got the O for go and the O for show. And she's saying the sounds as she does it. She's not saying S-H-O-W. She's saying sh-o. And you got a heart from Miss Monica. Okay, and here is a new word. What's this word? Road. Travel on the... Where does road belong?
Ding, ding.
Yes, she's discovered it. She searches, so she has to notice the inside parts of words. Thank you, Katie. O. Can you remember? Here's the O. This is the O. 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 And the last sound of road? Road. You can say it. Road. What's the word though? Don't.
Road.
D.
L.
Yeah. See, if you just say it, then you know the sound. That's why I'm covering this up. I want her to really be thinking of the sound that she hears in the words, because that will give her a lot of clues for spelling. Because the only part that's really tricky for her is which O spelling. But that's right here on our chart. Okay, road. When I'm introducing this for the first time, or the student's fairly young at it, I try to get one word in each column, at least. Okay, you got road. How many spellings do we have so far? We've got this O in go, this O in show, this O in road. Okay, it's pretty impressive. Let's do another word. Let's do this word.
Close.
Close. Please close the door.
Or close.
That's a different... Oh, she says clothes like you're wearing. And they sound so similar. That's a good point. Let me show you the clothes. Like this is the clothes we wear.
Close.
Actually, I'm going to do this. Clothes. These are all different sounds. These are the sounds in clothes. Okay, let's hear the sounds in clothes. O, O, Z. This is all one sound. Z. But so that's clothes, like you wear clothes, and this is like close the door. So our language is tricky, isn't it? So where does that close belong? This one's separated. See how it's got some separation between it? Which spelling is like that on our chart? Close. Separated. If you have any questions about guided reading, how you do a small group reading instructions format, let me know. Okay, so she's figuring out where close belongs. Close the door.
So it's this one.
That's right, that's the separated one. Okay, so say the sounds in your head and you'll be able to spell it right. Can I hear it? What's the next sound?
I'm doing it in my head.
I need you to hear it so they can hear it too. Oh. And then now you're starting this part. Oh. But it's separated, so leave a space. Close. That's right, Katie. Close. There's the Z spelling in this word, close. That's a tricky one. Close. And move into the finishing the E. Finishing the O spelling. All right, very nice. Now I'm going to erase this one and dot it for you, because that's backwards. We're working on the... Start this way, okay? Yes, so CVC is always pretty much one letter, one sound. And if you stay very long in that realm, then it's hard for the child to make the switch to the fact that one sound can be 2 letters, as in show, the O in show, or 3 letters, as in the I in night, or 4 letters as the O as in dough, like in cookie dough. So the sooner you expose them to that concept, the easier it will be for them to transition. And also because there's so much information that they have to learn at that advanced phonics level, whether you call it the vowel digraphs or the diphthongs, all that, whatever your label is, long vowels, the sooner we get to it, the better, because they're still going to be practicing the short vowels in their reading. It's not like we're abandoning them. Okay, great. We got a thumbs up from Curleen, too. Okay, you're almost done. You've got one more spelling. Okay, let's do this spelling.
I got 3 thumbs up and
Three thumbs up and 2 hearts.
2 hearts, not 4 hearts.
Maybe we should get some more hearts when we're done with this, okay? What do you think?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can answer for that. Here's one last word, and then we'll have one in each column.
Toe.
How many of those do you have?
10.
Yeah, okay. Where does toe go?
To go.
Okay, say the sounds. Very nice. So what's the key sentence?
Go home to show Zebra to Joe.
Very nice. Let me show everybody your work. Let's see if they'll give you any reward for your work. There is her O sorted, getting started. She could do some more independently with an assistant or take it home to do it for her homework, or she could come back and do it with me. So that was the word work component. We did 2 activities. We did switch it with the board, the back of the board, and letter sounds, and then she did sort it, working on the advanced phonics O sound, and we're going to be working on the O sound all week. I'm going to send, so I don't see her every day, but I'm going to send some things home for her to work on the O sound all week, particularly reading. Okay, so we're going to read some little poetry that's part of the Reading Simplified Academy that I've put together, so you can have all these resources in one spot. And these are nursery rhymes. You may know them. Which one would you like to read first?
But also, why did you put this one even though it's like that?
I don't know. Maybe I could go somewhere else. Maybe it should go on this one.
Yeah.
Which passage would you like to read? Little nursery rhymes here. Which one would you like to pick first?
What is this one?
Well,
Mary had a little lamb.
yeah.
Well.
You want to try that one? So these she happens to know, it looks like, because she's got some exposure to this. But some kids won't know these nursery rhymes, so then it's a little harder reading practice, but that's good. And then also they'll be learning their nursery rhymes. Okay, let's read. I want you to point with your finger, just like Victoria was suggesting earlier. I think that'd be good for us. Do you want to point with your finger or point with the pencil eraser? Eraser? Okay.
I don't do this.
Okay.
Row your boat.
Okay, that's the title. Row, row, row your boat. Now we get started reading it. Row, row.
Row your boat gently down the stream.
Okay, stay with the words, because this is stream, okay? Life is let's put those sounds together. Well, you're thinking boat, but that's not what this word is. So let's work on the sounds. Put those together. Life is but
a
dream. Life is but a dream. That's a funny little nursery rhyme. Doesn't really mean a lot. Okay, can I read it to you while you point with your finger or your pencil? Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 merrily. Life is but a dream. You see that? Can you read that line with me?
Life is but a dream.
Okay, so now she's going to do a kind of another word work activity because this reinforces the O sound. So we read a little passage. It's super short, so it doesn't take too long. Some passages would be longer, and that would be good, but we're just warming up. And this is a nice, gentle way to start because we're just young. We're going into first grade, right? Okay, can you search for the O spellings and circle just the O spellings? What's that word? Did you get the O? Can I see? Oh, let's show our fans, and then you can do a couple more. What do you think, you guys? Is that a good way to practice recognizing the O spellings? That's what she's going to do. We call this search for the sound or search for it. Okay, let's do a couple more. What else do you find? Row. Now let's see. Now, you know what? Let's listen. Make sure you listen for the O sound. Row, row, row your boat. Okay, is there an O? Yeah, she skipped over your, even though it has the letter O. That's good. Nope, you're right. It has a letter O, but what sound is it in your? Or. It's a kind of different sound, isn't it? Maybe some kids would hear it as O, but I know we'd deal with that if we needed to. Row. That's B. Boat. Boat. Okay, and that's actually it for this one. There's not many in this one. So let's figure out where she's got these O's, spellings circled, and then let's figure out where they go. Okay, so if you're... We'll do that one if we have time. Okay, let's see. Where would the O and row go? Let's just point to which of these places is the same spelling for O. Row. So we're getting her to look at that spelling over and over again. And these are all the same, row, row, row. And how about boat? Very good. Okay. Do you want to try to read this again and see if it's easy for you? Okay, let's go.
Row, row, row your boat.
Now start over because that was just the title.
Row, row, row your boat. Get me down the stream.
Very nice. How beautiful. We even got a song with it. What do you guys think? Does she deserve some love for that? It's pretty good stuff. Maybe people have gone quiet. So do you want to take a break and call it a day, or do you want to do another O sound nursery rhyme?
Another O sound nursery.
Okay, very good. What's this one?
Mary, Mary. No.
This is Mary.
Had a little man.
That's the title. Okay, here we go.
Mary had a little man, little.
Okay, you're singing the song and it's being tricking. It's tricking you, isn't it? Because this is different. Mary had a little lamb.
It's
Fleece
was white as snow. And
everywhere.
She went
And everywhere that's at. Yeah, and everywhere that Mary
went, the
lamb
was
sure to
go.
The lamb was sure to go. Okay, can I read it and you point with your pencil? Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Okay, you want to search for some O's, or are you finished? Okay, you did a great job today. Thank you. Why don't you go find your prize box? Be careful with some of the chords. So, you guys, that was most of the three-part structure that I would recommend that works really well for beginners or advanced kids, because wherever they are, you just change the level of the difficulty of the words and the text, but you can still do the same structure. And what I would have her do was listen to this on some sort of device, or read it with a buddy, or read it with a teaching assistant, and take it home and then have a copy here tomorrow. Have her reread these to me so that it would be easier and easier for her. So not only is she going to be learning the words snow and go that have the O spelling, but she would start to memorize little and was and maybe everywhere. Some of the text that we have here is smaller because that's what the teacher would read, because this is very ambitious for a kid who's just starting out. So she would practice this on her own in some way, come back tomorrow and have it for rereading. So I would start tomorrow's lesson with rereading of at least one of these, maybe both. And then she could collect the things that she's reading across the course of the week and reread them during a rereading time, have her book box or whatever you want to call it, where she's practicing these texts over and over again. And then we would do more Switch It tomorrow. But that's one of the 2 word work activities. I would focus on the short E, and I would move to a harder level of CCVCC. Then we do more Sort It, finishing this page probably. And I'd ask her to remember how to say that key sentence. And then we do another O sound text. Let me show you some examples. These are 2 books that you can also get online for free at starfall.com. I highly recommend them if you haven't checked them out. Starfall.com. And so these are both focusing on the O sound, and that would be really great practice for her because they have more than one O spelling. That's what I really like about these books. My soap boat is sailing away, cries Joe. So we have here on this page 2 spellings of O. She could do the same thing, search for the sound, maybe with wiki sticks or tiny little Post-its. So this may be a book that she would read on the second day and reread it with her friend or with a buddy or on the computer, because you can read this on the computer with Starfall. Read it at home. You can, for only about $1 or $2, you can get all these little books, a whole set of 20 books from Starfall for each kid. So that's a fairly affordable way to send books home for free that they can keep. Then the next day, maybe she would do Robot and Mr. Mole. Again, you've got different spellings of the O sound. The O that's separated and the O that's just one letter. Nora Gatos has these great books that you can get at Barnes & Noble or Amazon in packs of 10. And this is another example. Now, she doesn't use all the spellings, but she'll use a couple. And so reread that, and maybe this is another one that's really funny. Snow Joe. So just giving her a collection of O sound books to read across the course of the week and reread them, along with some word work activities like Sort It that build up her knowledge of the spellings of the O sound, and as well as her knowledge of the high frequency words. And so that would wrap up a nice balanced literacy week for her for learning how to read words. Off to the side, in other activities we would be doing read aloud and reading harder books aloud and talking about rich literature. But when she's learning how to recognize words and get into books herself, this is a good format that can serve you, I think, and serve even second grade teachers, special education teachers who are trying to catch kids up. Again, it's the same format I use even with middle school and high school kids. Recently, I just finished working with a high school student who was identified in the spring as being dyslexic, and he was reading non-words, like a nonsense word test, like a first grader in the 8th month. And that was part of what was keeping him from being successful as a reader, because he didn't understand sound symbol decoding. So we did this kind of same activity set, harder words, harder text, and he jumped all the way to the 10th grade level, from 1.8 to 10th grade in 12 hours of instruction, because we were zeroing in on what he needed to solve his reading problems. His comprehension also went up from 5th grade to 16th grade, which is like college, which was kind of crazy. But it just shows that when you get this foundation shored up, that sound symbol decoding, the rest of the system can work more effectively for most kids. So this is a pretty balanced lesson. I hope that it can be something you give it a try. There is a link for a post with more information and a free download for a lesson plan to keep you organized. So thanks for tuning in here to Reading Simplified. It's our job to help streamline reading instruction and accelerate students' reading achievement. So stay tuned for more. If you haven't liked our Facebook page, and follow us so that you catch these lives when they go live, I'd love for you to do that so you don't miss out. Thanks again for being here. You want to say bye?
Bye.